Welcome to section 8. Now, this is an interesting section. Here, now that you've learned everything about stocks, ETFs, mutual funds, all the equity-based investment classes, what we're going to now look at is technical analysis. So whether you're a shorter-term trader or a longer-term investor, you should have a pretty good idea of technical analysis, at least the basics, because if you're a long-term investor, you want to know the basics because you can then time your entries and exits appropriately. If you're a shorter term trader, anywhere from 1 day, which is a day trading style, all the way up to 3 to 6 months, you want to understand technical analysis very well because this is going to be very important for you. So let's go take a look at all the different technical analysis tools. We'll cover the most popular ones here. But first of all, why is technical analysis an important skill to have? Whenever you enter a trade, you must have a good basis for entering the trade. Perhaps it's some good news on the fundamental side, or perhaps it's reached a technical point where you think the stock is going to go up based on some information that you see. The more information you can have to time your trades, entries, and exits, you're looking at a higher probability of success. Now, nothing is 100% sure in the markets. You have to understand that. But technical analysis becomes important because millions of traders, even the professionals, are looking at the charts. In fact, the professionals are looking at the charts much more than regular retail investors. So when the professionals look at it, this is smart money, it is big money, and when they come in a big way. And so volume tends to go higher, whether they're selling or buying, you have to sort of identify that. And crowd behavior tends to reinforce these patterns. So when some smart money people see others are jumping in, then they'll jump in and it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. So that's what technical analysis is. At the end of the day, it's a study of crowd behavior. You have to understand, and we've covered this before, technical analysis will not work during fundamental events. So if a company is facing a lawsuit, then there is no way any technical pattern is going to work, because at that point the news is going to dominate the stock's price action, and technical analysis will not work during those times. But during all the other times, technical analysis is a good basis to time your trades, whether it's an entry or an exit. What we're going to do in this section is we're going to look at several trading styles. So one is a long-term investor, which means you're going to hold a position for several months or maybe even a couple of years or 3 years. Then we have a position trader, which is somewhere between 1 to 6 months. Then you have swing trading, which you're just taking advantage of swing lows and swing highs on perhaps a 3 to 4 week range. And then you have day trading, which is strictly intraday opportunities. Now the key is, when you do technical analysis, you have to use the right charts and the right time frames for your style. So if you're a long-term investor, then there is no point in looking at intraday charts. So let's go over to the platform and let me give you a brief guidance on how to view charts and what are the time frames you should be looking at. All right, so this is where we left off yesterday. Our XLF got executed this morning and we are in. It's a little bit down. Now Chipotle has come down. The markets are down. So the S&P is down about 14 points. Price line has come down by 23 bucks. So we are still in profit on price line. We're still up 66 bucks, but that is a pretty significant drop today. Chipotle has come down. Therefore, we are benefiting from that because we are in a short position. So now let's go take a look at charts. So here, let's look at the first type of trading style, which is a long-term investor. So here you have a 2-year daily chart. Now that's a good chart to go by if you're a long-term investor. You can even go by the 1-year daily chart. That is not bad as well. So here now, if you wanted to buy XLE, you want to catch these low points and see how you can enter. Now you can use various tools here on technical analysis. Here we are using money flow. Here money flow is below 0, so it tells you that it's a bearish moment in XLE. So you may or may not want to take a bullish call. So when you're looking at a longer term investment, then you're probably looking at a chart of at least 1 year. If you're a position trader and you want to hold a position for anywhere between, let's say, 1 to 2 months or 1 to 3 months, then you would go to the 6-month chart. and you would do a daily chart. As your time frame for your trade reduces, you have to reduce the chart size also. That's basically the point of this. So if you're a swing trader with a 1 to 4 week outlook, then you would just want to look at the 1 month daily chart. And so now these are what I call swing highs and swing lows. So here's a swing high, swing low, swing high. Now it's a little choppy, so you wouldn't want to touch it. These are some of the swing highs and swing lows that you can take advantage of. That's for a swing trader. And finally, of course, you have the day trader, and the day trader would go into the intraday and say one day, you want to look at a 1 day chart and perhaps a 10-minute or a 15-minute chart, and you would have various indicators that tell you when to get in or when to get out. So here you can see XLE gap down today. Today is Tuesday, Feb 23rd. XLE gap down today, and perhaps this would have been a signal to short it at somewhere around 57.8 or something, and right now it's at about 57.23. After talking about time frames, now what I want to do is give you a set of basic technical analysis tools. So these are recordings that I've made earlier. And it doesn't matter, because when you're doing chart analysis, it doesn't matter when the chart was, because all you're trying to do is to study the chart patterns and try to get some insight out of how technical analysis works. So the next few lectures are going to be individual lectures on some technical analysis tools that I've done before. You will see the most popular ones. So some of the more popular ones are moving averages, Bollinger Bands, how do you identify support and resistance, things like that. So there'll be about 4 or 5 indicators, and for a beginner, this should be plenty enough so that you have something to go by. I do want to, before I leave this section, I do want to go look at the S&P, because we did draw some lines there. Let's go back to our daily 1 year daily chart. I think this is what we did. Let's go see how these Fibonacci. Now Fibonacci is a particular type of technical analysis tool as well. So if we had studied this earlier, now let's see what happened. I think when we first started making the videos, this was here, so it came down. Now look how perfectly it was a double bottom. Now here it again tried to pierce it right there, but it's getting rejected today. So you can see that how technical analysis can work. Now obviously before you see this, you don't know that it's going to get rejected. So basically you actually have to wait and see how this plays out, and that's when you get the signal, because once it goes through a Fibonacci retracement convincingly. So these are all convincing moves. Then it's gone past that level. Now it's up to the next level to see how the stock will behave at that level. So this is still holding. This Fibonacci pattern is still holding as of now. That's great. So here you can see it got rejected at this 50% mark. Again, it was rejected there earlier and it got rejected there again. So here we go. This is a good example of how some technical patterns might work. So what you would be looking for is not to take a trade on this bar, because that's when it's trying to pierce. But here you can see that it's getting rejected. The S&P is down about 17 points today. So that is a firm rejection of that level. Let me go over, and I want to include a bunch of videos in the next few lectures so that you have a good idea of what technical analysis is. And then you're going to get the bonus trading strategies in this section. So what we are going to do is take a longer term trade, take a swing trade, and a day trade. So now we'll analyze various stocks and we'll see why these are good for these time frames, why certain stocks may be good for those time frames. So that's what is important. So after this section, you will have all the tools to trade in stocks, ETFs, as well as sectors. You will have the technical analysis tools as well, which is going to be very helpful to you. And so basically you're ready to open a brokerage account. I would recommend that you practice on paper money first, and then once you get comfortable, you can move over to real money. But basically you have all the tools right now to make an investment into the markets. But of course, we're not going to stop there. We're going to go and look at all the other asset classes as well in future sections. So look out for 3 or 4 or 5 main indicators that will help you understand what technical analysis is. Thanks.